I removed the live chat because I just wanted to focus on the topic at hand. All right, so the matter is that I have discovered information while people kept talking about um superficial drama s BS that I said that I don't want to be a part of, but I knew why they were doing it because they were trying to involve me into their bullshit. They were using it as a reason to exploit me and try to take my character, silence me, and also take over my identity. Now, all that was seriously a distraction, and I knew that, but I didn't get enough information as to what was going on with to my life. Like I knew that obviously I know firsthand that I'm being abused, that people off the street at my workplace and stuff like that are lying to me or being really fake and disingenuous about not watching me in the privacy of my home. But the why, their personal whys, I have an idea of because people just really are um, irresponsibly reckless and hurt, and none of that is my responsibility or something that I have to deal with or help them with. And they're users. They are abusers. And they copy a lot of things that are very sinister. It's more than just being greedy. It's more than being selfish. It's more than being wicked. This is just no sense, animalistic behavior going for themselves. Like they don't care if you look like them. They don't care if you're their same blood. They don't care if you're nice to them. They don't care if you were naturally kind to them, if you were beneficial to them. They just want you gone. They just want you to be used. They'll make a reason, and they'll tell themselves that reason so many times that they'll probably believe it. But society, a lot of people in society are very quick to do some dumb, stupid shit. But when it's time to pay the piper, all of a sudden, I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, look, why don't you help me with these? I need you to fulfill these tasks right here, right there. Because like that's work, that's business. But if they try to ask me something personal about myself, that's obviously off limits. But people being very invasive, people wanting to know about you, but then they don't want to know, they don't want to discuss what's been said about you behind your back that they said. All of a sudden, it's I don't know what you're talking about. All of a sudden, hey, look, I want to distract you by doing this, that, here, and the third. I want to test you to see, hey, are you mad at me? It's like fucking with somebody's um, boundaries or just respect in general, anything, and then be like, hey, you want to go eat? Like on some dumb shit. At work, it's just like, oh, can you just go ahead and fulfill these tasks and stuff, and let's see how she replies to us and stuff like that. I'm just like, many things. Here you go. It's business. I'm not gonna be like, oh, how's your kids? How was your weekend? Nah, fuck out of here. There have been some things, some revelations that have happened within the last 24 hours that has really been more of an eye opener that I had to get on my own, or at least, get intuitively. That wasn't through messages by tarot readers. Tarot readers who have been very fucking just low earth when it was coming to just like, oh, this guy, he feels about you, this, that, here, and the third. This abuser, that's what you need to say. This abuser, this person that decided to put cameras in my home, decided to abuse me, and decided to actually try to off me. That's not my lover. That's not my love language. That's not my divine feminine. I'm sorry, my divine masculine, twin flame, any of that kind of stupid ass bullshit. Like, I've mentioned this and I want it to be very clear in this video that a lot of this psychobabble that people have adopted when they cultivated a new religion to just say blah blah wee, dragons in the sky kind of bullshit in order to exploit me is just so fucking corrupt. But not any worse than what the Christians did and what political people did and just people in the street or what my relatives did. It's just, I'm just really fucking sick of it. And people telling me like, oh look, this, that, here, and the third. Like, people still trying to be opportunists and stretch like a motherfucker this abuse to go on any longer. I'm just thinking. And that's really, really dangerous because I just, any type of guilt or shame for bullshit that you started, you doubled, quadrupled down in, you've exploited, you try to harm me with. It's like, you know what? It's like, how can I compare it? It's like a mom saying, a child is being very reckless and disobedient. Like, you're just like, okay, stop it. And then the child keeps escalating. And the child also is, throwing tantrums, crying on the floor, kicking and screaming. And this child is maybe like, I don't know, 7. It's not like it's a toddler or something like that where you just be like, okay, quit the shits. I mean, they won't listen anyway, but still, it's just like somebody who's like 6 or 7 throwing a tantrum, crying on their back, throw something, break something at the store, and is like drawing attention and just like being like really fucking nasty. All you need to do is just say what you need to say and do what you need to do. And just on that ride home, it's just like, it's just gonna be quiet. I mean, you're gonna be saying whatever you want to say though, but I'm just gonna be quiet driving on my way home. And as soon as that house door closes, I'm beating the shit out of you. That is basically the equivalent of where I'm at right now. I just need to really focus and narrow down because there's a part where it is a patience, but not for the patience that you want. You want people to be patient where they are complacent and doing anything that they, that you like that person to do. But we're driving on the ride home after I told you like, hey, look, stop. You can't have this. You feel me? You can't do this. And you caught a fucking attitude and you decided to do this, that, here, and the third. And I am just thinking. I am talking obviously right now, but I am also just fucking thinking. There's no reason for me to have been on the watch list. I have been a humanitarian. I have been the person who helped raise other people. I have been the person who's done everything for everybody. And when I say no, I mean like no. So I'm trying to think of a specific scenario. When it's just like, well, if you ask too much of me, I will say no. I will say no. And I'll be like, no, I can't do this for you. And I won't say it in like a shitty kind of way. I'm like, you know what? No, I can't say this. I can't do this to you, do this for you or do this to you. But if it comes to like something gross, like, okay, hey, you want to go out? I'm like, no, like, we can't do this. I can't. I don't want to talk to you. Like, I even have direct messages, DMs. Turning down people who actually currently work for or like councilmen back in the day before they were councilmen. Or just like, okay, like, hi, like I was just being polite to you, but they try to turn it on me for like I'm trying to be a stiff or something. And I'm just like, no, like I don't know what gave you the impression that I was going to date you or flirt with you or anything like that. Like that's just not me. So yeah, I don't know where you got that. I don't know where you got that confusion from, but hindsight's 2020. There's been so much stuff talked about me, so it doesn't surprise me. Really am looking at all these messages. You want to put it down like on here, on there, comb through everything, and just present it to the world. But it's not like you need that anyway, because what kind of justification did you need to watch someone and embarrass them and mock them? No matter what, there was like no story needed in order for you to try to abuse me and think it was funny, to poison me, to sterilize me, to harass me, to put things in my house. And then you guys make these little sneak comments or insults that have been used on me, you try to use it on others. Like I already know what your character is like. Like, okay, you guys are racist, but you guys feel so content in your little circle, in your little realm, because like you have other fuck ups. I mean, like you have other people who are fuck ups. So you feel okay because like you're not alone in that. You're not alone in the fuck up. The only thing that you should feel like you should feel terrible about yourself though. But a lot of you people don't, because you are surrounded by a lot of people, other people who are fuck ups. Now, when let's say when the time comes for you to just discover an nth of that, I just want you to think of me, because you are definitely deserving of any fucking kind of pushback or empathy, like energy. Like, you don't deserve any empathy. Damn sure won't get any from me. I don't even fake the sympathy. So I mean, I'm just telling you straight up, like you're not gonna get any from me. You don't deserve it. Okay, you don't deserve it. But it's just like at a moment when somebody will come out from the crowd as you are relieved or pat on the back by your supporters, just know that there's going to be somebody that's going to tell you, well, what did you do to deserve that? And you guys are probably still thinking, just looking at me like, oh no, like what's going to happen? Like she's not going to do anything. There's a lot of things that I said that I was going to do, and I fulfilled it. Even with you guys in the way. You don't. Here's the thing, though. When it comes to my pursuits, it does entail extra people, because it's supposed to be like obviously a community. It's supposed to be like a community basically situation where I'm working with other businesses. Like if I need to, basically with the project that I have going on right now, I am working and collaborating a with an employee at a position who's actually seems pretty good at what they're doing right now. Knock on wood. At the last one, no, no, and it seemed like this person was actually a gang stalker, but he was also hired to delay the process and the job and duties and stuff like that and the vision that I had going on, because it literally took from 2020 to March 2023 for him to just fail me. And I was just like, no, I just can't do this anymore. Like, for real, for real. Like, it was just so much time lost, so much money lost. And I was just like, forget this. I literally would rather just like clear the table with all the papers and just start anew. Not with the project and invention, but just like to start anew with like getting just somebody else like to fulfill this vision, because it's all about the principle. Like I was done with the back and forth, and I was just like, I had it. How many people on this earth are actually good people? Are actually good people where they don't want to stalk anybody, are genuinely happy for another person's success, wanting that person to do better, you know, seeing seeing somebody work hard and knowing that they deserve every bit of happiness without you having to say anything that's like negative or constructive when it's actually just criticism. It just seems like it's a few people. Okay. And I'm definitely one of those few people. It's definitely a dying breed. So I mean, I one thing is, what am I to do with some of you? So yeah, last night I discovered early, like last night, like a little bit before 12 a.m. into the following day, realized, hey, I'm on the government watch list, and I don't deserve to be. And that there are people, citizens, a lot of the people in the world are sellouts. A lot of the people in the world just want a quick and easy come up. And I'm all in support of work smarter, not harder, but it's really going to bite you in the ass when you try to sell out people that were good to you, people that were genuinely kind to you, people that were on a deficit, people that didn't disrespect you or betray you or backstab you. That's when it's really going to like fucking like hurt, as it should. So this unjustified situation that I've been placed in obviously has been involuntary and without my permission. It's just okay. I mean, yes, I knew that I was being gang stalked, but it was just always like I needed to get to the epicenter of everything. I needed to get to the core, to the reason. I needed to understand exactly, I needed to get more aware. I didn't need the distractions about, okay, exactly what kind of punishment and this, that, here, and the third had happened. Like, that's all something that I wanted to, that's all I want to know, and find out about. But right now, I just needed to get to this right here, which is like, the core, the nucleus, the yolk of the situation to just. And I still don't know that part fully, but to know that I've been put on a fucking government watch list unjustly by a bitch ass bitch that grew up with me being hateful and spiteful for many, many, many years, lying about me behind my back, saying all kinds of slanderous stories, making all this shit up, sleeping with my ex-boyfriends behind my fucking back, and then wanting to go ahead and have me sabotaged, take things from me, copy my fucking life. Not only just copy my life, but copy my grandmother's life and my mom's life. Like that is so fucking creepy. Like extremely creepy. Like my hair is like starting to stand on its end. Actually, it's just like I just want to just accordingly. Accordingly. And I see that you guys are trying to fight tooth and nail, but black people of Trenton, New Jersey. My name is Shalise, and I have been unjustly put on the government watch list by relatives, ex-lovers, and it has been encouraged by Trenton, New Jersey, black people of Trenton, New Jersey. Then it manifested into people who are Hispanic and white across the board in New Jersey. The governor knows, the mayor knows, obviously. The mayor's assistant, I actually know that person. I'm actually related to that person. Well, like, cousin related to that person. And they all decided to use me as a scapegoat and exploit me. So I will want to try to cultivate that into as many as into all my messages and all my future videos going forward until this shit is resolved. Um, and or I obviously I'm the one that's getting justice. Pardon me. Um, by my own accord, since the government doesn't want to do their fucking job, and that's another thing that's just so fucking stupid. People are gonna pretend like oh, their hands are tied, or they're just in doing an investigation and all the other kind of dumbass bullshit. But they have allowed and they have filled their pockets off of my abuse. I have a sense of things. I have enough sense of things to move accordingly, and people are just always just like, oh, like what is this gonna be? But normally I divulge. I'm a little bit more. I'm not as broad when I say move accordingly. I kind of give like an example or something like that. But I'm just gonna go by feelings. Everybody has acted in their feelings. Everybody has done everything selfishly for their feelings, and I think it's just a moment for me to act in my feelings for the disrespect that you guys have done to me, knowingly, consistently. I think you guys should actually understand exactly how that feels. Am I going to do it now? Am I going to do it later? Am I going to do it tomorrow? Am I going to do it tonight? You will know. Why should I tell you? I don't owe any of you bitches shit. Insane. Insane. Do you know how wild it is for you to have a business right now off of exploiting me? And I showed you before about, black people selling out other black people, that slave shit. And we just started, well, not we, but like black people just started repeating that shit. Certain black people, because again, I said not we, but like certain black people. Okay, I'm in the group where the black people wouldn't do that. The black group, they wouldn't do that. Uniform, I am working on something. Obviously. I just okay. So I grew up middle class, and I was approached. I was a friendly one and stuff like that. I was a smart one that when I was in Catholic school in like kindergarten, I was asked to go up a grade. And I was just like, no. So I'll just put that in there. Then I went to Baptist daycare. Then I went to a Catholic kindergarten, and then I went to an elementary school where I did like 1, 2, 3, and such. So from there, I like first and second grade was cool, whatever like that. And then in the second grade is when I started getting more into science, and I started volunteering. I started participating in like the science fairs and things of that nature. Um, as far as school wise, I was really good, and I was a studious child. And at home, I was a kid that was always like, helping out people, this, that, and the third, taking care of my grandmother. My mom was, away. She was either at work or, doing her active life. And I was helping take care of me. And eventually, once I got to a certain type of age, I think it was like 6 or 7, I was taking care of my brother once he was born. And then my mom was, she was back up out of the streets. My grandmother, she worked as a nurse assistant. And my mom was an assistant. She like a general assistant, like like a secretary or administrative assistant. And yeah, and I was, just again the studious child. My mom knew a couple of languages, and I had learned my languages from her. And well, she knew a few languages, and I learned my languages from her. And I was, doing my extracurricular activities, this, that, and the third. Eventually, in like an elementary school is when I started making friends. Besides my friends besides the connections I had with my family. Now, with my family on my father's side, everything was cool, and I have pictures in this area and the third where people were very, seemed appropriate enough to care about me and to seem like they admired me in this area and the third. Like it very much looked genuine. The During the third grade is when someone had approached me and asked me to asked me to be their friend at first. And then eventually they just started calling me like BFF. And pretty sure like in hindsight, it was because of like, just my then bubbly personality and just me, giving them things. Like it's just like, well, I would get things and I'm just like, oh, well, can so and so have them too? So, if I'm gonna get a skip it from my teacher decided to give me a skip it. And I was just like, oh, okay, well, can so and so get one too? And I didn't even know. Like I didn't know if that was like at the time I was too young. I didn't know if that was polite or not like that. But it was just like the first thing that came out of my mouth because that was like that was a friend I had. So I was just like, yo, can so and so have one too? And the teacher was like, yeah. So we both got skip its. And shortly after that, then I became BFF. Not knowing exactly the you know the kind of energy that I would get, from somebody wanting to be my friend because of things. I'm too young to know about this kind of stuff. So come on. So I'm definitely attracting other friends, but then I was just, subliminally, I'm not knowing better about like, somebody whispering in my ear about, oh, don't be friends with this person, don't be friends with that person. And the person that's telling me this is the person who first called me friend. And that's really creepy in hindsight now. Again, I'm very studious, and I'm the person who gets the good grades and volunteers and plays notable places. Is there here in the third. My name is in the paper. As a kid, yeah, that just seemed very very well. And I was at like, hold on, if you didn't like me, supposedly the family, oh, like we never liked you, then why would you have asked me to be in your wedding? As like your maid of honor. Obviously, I was too old to be like the flower girl, but like you've asked me to be like your maid of honor in your wedding. And in another wedding of like another uncle, like they were considering it, but by that time too, I was too old supposedly. So it was just like to just come in attendance, and I was just like, yeah, cool. Anyway, because like I feel like yeah, like a flower girl is supposed to be a flower girl. Like the flower girl is not supposed to be as tall as her parents. So I'm just like, yeah, no, that's totally fine. And yeah, like I was that wasn't not a problem for me. I thought everything was so cool between us. That was the moment that I was abused when I was a kid but it's and then I had like a growing infatuation for a girl, because at the time I was just like, okay, well, the person who had SA'd me was a babysitter, and eventually after that, like I was just like, okay, well then all right, well then I like a girl. Basically, that's what I thought back in the day. And so here I am, like, I had a moment with a girl. That was like the first girl, that not the babysitter, ill. And I told my mom on that one, and my mom shut that down temporarily, but then she brought me back to that person's house, and I'm just like, well, what the fuck? But it was a that was one of those moments where it just showed me about the carelessness and the irresponsibility that my mother had, because she took me there because her lover was there. Like, my mom had a very warped sense of mind. Like, she was just, there was a lot of things that was bad about her when it came to this, like, parenting. But I digress. Me, me. I was at one of like my aunt's place, because I was at I was with where my aunt used to stay, where she used to grow up. And I was at like the lady who had kind of like adopted her, because her mom had died. My grandma on my dad's side had passed away when my dad was young. And so I went over to that lady's house, and she had like one of her, like, her little like daughter's friends over there, and the daughter like was getting like very flirtatious, and I was just like stop. And she kissed me, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, oh, what's going on here? And then and then kissed. We were super young, elementary school, and we walked in. Not we walked in, but my aunt and the aunt and my mom had walked in on us, and we were just like, like bear out. I'm just gonna be very raw with you guys. We were just like, kind of like, not totally like, Kindles, like bear out, but we were just like, kind of like bear out, and they were just like, oh no, 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 no. So that was the first and last moment that I've ever had with with that kind of like exploration. Later on, I started to, develop like, a an admiration for guys, but it was mostly because my mom was just like, no, don't do that ever. And yeah, and it never happened. Well, and then that's when she started heavily exploring. Coincidentally, that's when she heavily started exploring different religions. So I started out with Baptist, then Catholic, then then was a Jehovah's Witness. Then she just started doing some other things in between though, but it was all like on up and up. It was still under the umbrella of like, Christianity. Independently, I started learning about like other religions, respectfully, because I was just like, well, no disrespect to Jehovah's Witness, but I just felt like I was cheated out on a lot of stuff. So I was just like, yeah, well, like, what else you got? Because this was just not the wave. No birthdays, no Christmases. What? To a child? Come on now, let's just. But my grandmother wouldn't let that happen anyway. I don't want to go too much into what is in my personal life, but it's just like, again, my grandmother was a nurse assistant. My mom was, like an assistant, and these were two fashionable women. And my grandmother was an excellent cook. My grandmother, she cooked a lot. She baked, and this, that, her, and the third. She grew up, and she had experience like, around a farm and, open land. She came from the South. And me myself had always a want to have like my own land and whatnot like that, because we used to go on annual family, what was it, the family reunions. Shit, I haven't been to one in a long time. Pardon me, there's something in my eye, like literally. Okay. On a formal, there's like literally something in my eye. Maybe I can get it out. But I'll just kind of talk to you over the. So yeah, I went to family reunions like nearly every summer. It was real sweet. Like, we all grab go in the van, go down south, rent a hotel, a nice one with a pool. And same thing with like my uncle. My uncle had like a really, really nice job, worked on Wall Street, and and we would go to like rent out a hotel. So he would like rent out a hotel. Back then, the day, Atlantic City was popping. It was always Atlantic City, Atlantic City, Atlantic City. So he had took out like he rented one of the high rises, one of like the apartments and stuff like that, up in Atlantic City, and it would just be me, his wife, and his kids, and her daughter from um a relationship prior to their marriage. And it was just like moments like that, like we just like that was my life. Everything seemed copacetic. So I thought. The family started acting funny on my dad's side when they found out that I was possibly gay, and I was like, I don't understand the situation. It's just like, for me, I feel like sex and stuff like that can be fluid anyway. So I mean, my preference now is I for the guys. I don't even like saying that now, considering that everybody is fucking mental. But it's just like eventually I grew into I claim bisexuality, but I am a person who's just like, I haven't had any type of sexual relationships with a woman at all, but I've had, just like, moments, romantic moments. Well, excuse me, I had the SA moment, and I've had like, like an interest in when I was younger. So, and I've mentioned this before in an earlier video. Like, I don't have any shame about that shit. Like, y'all can fucking kiss my ass about that. Like, for real, for real. Pardon me. What the hell? But my family was acting really funny about me on my dad's side. So, but they also saw me as the one that kept, like, getting notoriety, and the family that I came from. It's so ugly on how this whole shit has kind of switched in a way, because the people on my dad's side are the ones that are kind of like that were jealous of the people on my mom's side, because they kind of lived, well, they did live in a better neighborhood then. And so it was just like a lot of fucking just like hidden resentment. I was a kid that would live in, like the good neighborhood or a decent enough neighborhood and have like, decent resources, but then would go live with my dad on the weekends or go visit my dad on the weekends. But my mom's crazy. And I was just like, because like she's off because she's not working on the weekends, obviously, and I'm off because I'm not going to school on the weekends. And I was just like, I'm gonna go with my dad. I just do not want to put up with you. So that is just, that was my situation. I say this because, things were supposedly good. I was the big sister. I was the one that was babysitting. I was the one that was giving people money. I was the one that was taking care of people and giving them advice. I was the one that people needed advice from. I was the one that people reached out to. I still have DMs and I still have text messages and whatnot like that. So again, for some, not for some, but for a lot of people to have gone behind my back, smiled in my face, and decided to put me on the government watch list, sleep with my ex, then lied to the ex, slept with the ex, then decided to exploit me, steal my identity and characteristics in order to be exploited. I am well in my right to do what is necessary in the matter of self-defense. And I am acting accordingly. And I'm acting like, it's just like, yo, some people will be like, yo, you're too calm, because it's needed. It is really, really fucking needed. People keep playing in my fucking face, and I really want to record all this little bullshit where people are acting really punk ass. Because in the group chats, y'all are really fucking tough. On social media, y'all some Twitter board ass, like keyboard ass little writers and warriors. Y'all so fucking cocky when y'all feel like y'all from a safe fucking distance, and when you have particular people behind your fucking back. On videos, you like to sneak this and do subliminals and this, that, here, and the third. Like you got a big fucking swinging dick, and that shit is a micro penis. Because all of a sudden, you don't know what you're talking about. All of a sudden, I didn't say that. All of a sudden, oh, you misheard me. You misunderstood me. All of a sudden, oh, you're too sensitive. And that other kind of bullshit. I wrote about people and their idea of funny. And there's like, people who laugh with you and the people who laugh at you. Like, I already know. And I don't need any type of like examples about like the distinction, but it's the people who are doing the sneak dissing and the jokes and stuff are the kind of people who make jokes about somebody being lynched and like, oh, look at that nigga shit. That's the kind of jokes that you guys are making. Whenever you want to talk about anything that you've done to me, it's and then try to make a joke about it. Like it's that kind of energy. So it's definitely based on racism. Anytime you throw any type of little subliminals and stuff like that, it gives that nigga is shaking from a lynch tree kind of situation. No matter how you want to, switch it up or change it up. It's just me. It's just little old me. So obviously, it would behoove me to do things appropriately. And appropriately isn't to be complacent to you or to be like, yes, sir, master, this, that, here, and the third. No. Um, no. Because even harming me is harming yourselves. Like you started off with the intention to be jealous and malicious. And it ended up being the vehicle that racists needed to further harm an entire race, and also just take off the rights and the responsibilities that they've done in the past. Brava. Bravissima. Bravado. Because honestly, what you did was that you gave them an outlet, the green light, to go ahead. They gave you the green, go ahead, do this. Do that. Hey, can we join? And y'all like, yes, y'all invited to the cookout. That kind of shit. All these subliminals and things like that. Like you guys patting them on the back for Black people were being okay with being patted on the back and given treats that they never got before. But it was just like, bitch, yes, you did. You just weren't very hip to it. You weren't aware to it because it wasn't advertised. And unfortunately, some of the people that were elite in the Black community had gatekeep. Not everybody was an Uncle Phil. As you can see, like even in the episodes of like Fresh Prince, how they had back in the day where they had some of the like the wealthy Black people be very like snobbish to anybody who was like, Will Smith or anybody who just seemed like new money or anything like that. And it was, well, I can understand that for a bit. I can understand that depending on what the person's mentality is like or how did they acquire that money. But on the whole, it's just like people were really fucking like gatekeeping on information to become wealthy and to open doors and everything like that. You did not have to be a sellout. And that's why I had the dreams that I had and why I would have had the success that I had a long time ago if you guys didn't try to sell me out and harm me and use me. At the age of 25, I made the makeup brush holder which dried out the makeup brushes, and I did a DIY tutorial on that, and I put it on my what is now called Just Bees Honey YouTube channel. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So at the time when I was in a relationship with the guy, my then self-claimed best friend decided to lie to them and to tell them all these kind of stories in order for them to betray me and decide to sleep with them and decide to, exploit me. He used his military connections and his father's military connections and government connections, because his father was initially a fire inspector and then became a chief inspector, and now is working at like a charitable event where he gets money. He owns like multiple houses. So, but he's had that house, which is over like, which is way over 100 grand, like way. It was basically way above his salary pay grade. These people didn't come from money. Everybody was fucking poor. Okay. Danielle was poor when she met me. Look at, oh my goodness, hold on. I don't know what kind of people you thought came from Trent High, but Trent High was like was very ratchet. My mom was like, it was the only thing that was respectable from Trent High was the fact that it was the history of it. I mean, and even at one point, Jay-Z had went to Trent High briefly, but like my mom was like, she was just like, no, like why don't we take you to Nottingham high school, because she wanted like she wanted me to have better prospects. And I was just like, no, I want to go to Trent High because, my friends are, oh my God, insane. Hindsight, if I fucking knew. So, as you can see, it says Thursday, May 25th, 2023, 4:15. All right, so I went to the library, as I said before. Let's go. Wait, do I have the lock on? I think I have the lock on. Yeah. Okay. All right, so you guys see that? Yeah, I think you guys can see that. Bam. Bam. Okay, hold on. A little bit faster. Oh, okay. So this right here, I don't know if you can really see that picture, but if you go on to like if you go to the Trenton Public Library, this is Danielle with this ratted shirt. Not the ratted shirt, the shirt underneath it, this baggy shirt underneath it, ratted shirt. And as you can see, like the hair, if you can make that out, the blonde hair. It wasn't like a fully blonde hair, it was the honey wheat hair. It was the honey wheat hair actually that my grandmother, the color that my grandmother has, used to wear all the time. And then oh my God, Danielle wanted to go on to school to become a nurse because my grandmother was the one that had like this really nice house. Well, what back then in the day, like it was like a really, really nice house. And Danielle liked it so much. And she was like, oh my God, like a really hindsight is 2020. So she wanted to become a nurse. She's probably gonna use some other type of excuse though. But my grandmother was a nurse assistant and she did some other things on the side, like Popular Club, which was kind of like the Avon kind of thing. But my grandmother had her multiple hustles, but it was just like the honest kind, okay? So, but she was a fashionable lady, so she did that. She did the crossing guard thing. So she's a crossing guard. She did the nurse assistant, and then she was also again Popular Club. So she did those three. So she did those three things. She couldn't do much though at her age because she was a diabetic and she kept getting blackouts, poor thing. And that's when I kept taking care of her. So what am I looking here for? Yeah. Yeah. So this is my grandmother. I'm just gonna, oops. Okay, so this is my grandmother. Here's a picture of my Nana. And do you see her with like, the blonde hair and stuff like that? So yeah, like that, I got that honest from her. Because my grandmother was always like the fashion lady, okay? She used to sew and this, that, here, and the third. Like I I got it honest. Like me and her, we were just like always together. She had the blonde hair, but it was like more of a like a honey, okay? And I was like super old, okay? That was a super old photo. And I used to color my hair too. So started my hair with like a cherry cola, and I started my hair with like a cherry cola, and then I had graduated to like more red because I like that red ombre thing where it was like black up top, red down the bottom. People, that was the wave back then. That was the wave. Don't judge me on that. Um, and then yeah. Wait a minute. Skip on one. Okay, can we get decent here? Can we get distant? Hold on, I just want to try to find a suitable picture. Because you saw the one where it was just like, I had my hand on the hip. Go battery. Yo. All right, 10%. I don't have much time. Stop the shits. I hate this. Okay, actually, let me just show you this because this is like so stupid. It's like, oh yeah, we never liked you. Hold on, like, don't look at this because me like really just like, hold on. So again, I mean, let's just start from that. You know what? Once, let's go from the very, like, my goodness. Okay. So again, this is me doing like weird things where it was just like the national pillow fight. I was the one that was, the person who was being like really colorful and out there by doing like little weird things. Back in the day, this was weird for like us to have like a national pillow fight. We're dressing up in costumes and going into the middle of the street of New York City and hitting each other with pillows and things of that nature. But I brought my little brother there and we had a blast. Or going to the middle of New York City and playing what was this? Oh, capture the flag. Like things of that nature. And what did I do? I would do things of like, okay, so one time I also had like tickets to the Eagles, some nice seats, and I was just like, hey, do you want to go? Like these are some good ass seats, right? And I had invited one of his family members to go. So we had really fucking good seats, really fucking good seats. This is me at a museum, having fun. These are my paintings that I did back in the day. This is when I had the bird, the baby bird, and this is my house. This is still the same raggedy carpet back in the day. He was in the house, and I gave him a bath. Oh, this right here was something like fun. This was at a burlesque thing, that was my idea. Like I was just that kind of person. So here I am with this. It's just you don't need a reason to want to. You don't need a reason to be like, okay, well, This is why we're going to be mad at her. This is why we're going to do this and that here and the third from her. Because they're all superficial bullshit. There's no reason why I should have been on the fucking government watch list. During all this time right here, 2010, September 29th, 2010, I was proper. You can go to Just Bees Honey on YouTube, and you can see that my personality and stuff like that, very bubbly, very bright. I have been eventually a lot of this stuff started, hold on, because this is still 2010, me making my own Halloween costume because I wanted to upcycle. Me hanging out with people. This is me going to New York City by myself and just hanging out, doing makeup contests. He was just so cute and bold. It was cold as fuck in this day. Cold as fuck. um, yeah, just me hanging out with the girls, we drinking. This is one of the bitches that literally decided to cross me. This is my house. This is still the yellow right here. There's still the carpet. It's still that little thing right there. People were saying that I was living on the streets one time, or that I was living in my car. When? That has never happened. To this day, I still live in the same fucking place. Here it is. Hold on. What day is this? November 22nd, 2010. But you have bitches like this wanting to wear the same hairstyle, with the crop little bang and stuff like that, trying to be sassy, sleeping with people who, if I have an interest in somebody, they wanted to sleep with them. I don't want this nigga back, but I'm just saying that this is really fucked up that I have people go through such great fucking lengths to show that they're just nothing but low fucking tier. You can't flex on somebody when you had to fucking abuse them. Like, do you hear me? For no fucking reason. For no fucking reason. You have literally I'm telling you, wiped the slate clean for people who had oppressed us and this, that, here, and the third. Well, I don't want to say entirely wipe the slate clean, but it's just like, it's like having a plate of food that you didn't finish and trying to clean it off, but it's not, but like you wiped it off and you threw it away, but the dirt is still there. So like the dirt is still there where people like, everything isn't like completely, like white people won't completely get off, but you have undone a lot of shit that people have worked for. Our ancestors, our people that are still alive based on your fucking greed. And the thing is that the people who were in the civil rights movement are still alive today. The people who are from the Holocaust are still alive today. The people who have had who are the daughters and sisters obviously of slaves, are still alive today. I mean, duh. But it's just like during the time when I was being abused, I'm pretty sure like one slave was like, still kicking it. But I'm just like, you guys decided that you learned nothing and decided to reinstitute that shit again on your own fucking accord. And not only that, but you're dragging your feet, or you're pretending like you don't know what the fuck is going on. And then what's worse is that you are also trying to continue to keep this shit going. And here's this little bitch nigga trying to over here help me. Like while he was while he got moved out, not moved out on his own accord, but got moved out. Okay. When he got moved out, as you can see, I still have this place. As you can see, we have not talked, besides last year, we have not talked in, besides last year, and that one time that I had asked, that one brief moment that I asked him for his help, because like, let's keep it a buck, in Facebook, I had contacted him because I was just like, look, I'm being hacked and I need assistance. And this was before I knew that this bitch was behind every fucking thing. But I did have some type of intuition that he knew of it. So I was like, look, I just need your help. And he just tried to play me and was just like, oh, like, my feelings are hurt. And I'm like, I don't even know how this is come up upon us, because I have been nothing but good to you. But if we can move past this, I need your help. And then he tried to fucking charge me. That was the moment, that was the moment I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I know that you are fucking involved in this, but I'm over here asking for your assistance. And yet you want to send me a link to fucking charge me. And yet, in hindsight, years later, I find out that you've been helping people steal my money, steal my property, steal my ideas, steal my fucking identity. Like I cut you off for life for that part though, but for you to even have done even all that shit and still think that you were, oh man, no, no. It just seems like people want me to put justice in my own hands because I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. God is not practiced on this earth, not properly, not properly. It's definitely cherry picked, and miracles are happening, but it's just like miracles are capable of happening, excuse me, because I would like to say miracles are happening, but that's only when justice is actually fucking here, not that illusion of justice when people think that they can just get away with shit and pretend like nothing fucking happened. I believe in miracles, but I also believe in action, and and when it comes to something as serious as this, I have not seen anything impactful happen unless, violence had come about it. So if somebody thinks that they're so big and bad, but they're unwilling to step down or have someone that's really the person who's supposed to be an authority um, put a stop to them, then it's up to the little guy to do something about it. Don't listen to the abusers. And the abusers are all the people who are trying to tell me no, don't do anything, this, that, and the third, wait, be patient. Those are the abusers. People who are trying to weaponize religion against me, people who are like literally trying to paint me as a bad character for the abuse that I've been going through, those are the abusers. And they always call themselves out. It's just like this is definitely a moment where it's just like it has to be a moment. But again, I'm just one person, so it's just like, it's all about space and opportunity. Space and fucking opportunity. So my name is Shalise, and I've been placed on the government watch list. And I've had ex friends, ex lovers, ex relatives that I've cut off come against me to exploit me and mock me. It was with the intent to mock me that my ex friends and my ex relatives did this, and the community did this. But then it became an exploitative opportunity for them, so they made a profit off of it. Then people from the higher ups decided to see it, and they took advantage of it too. During this time was like George Bush era, and it was a very convenient time for it was that time when what is it, Katrina had happened, and this was going on already when Bush was in the office. And shortly after, Kanye West was just like, George Bush doesn't like black people, and it just seemed so convenient with that and the whole Katrina thing. And the next best thing was to add Obama. And by that time, of course, I was already being exploited by the time that, this was just like a leg up. And everybody just feeling a very um opportunistic moment to keep exploiting me. So it's like an empty victory that you guys had to sell out in order to get these wins when even your necks are on the line. Not only that, but you've taken also away a lot of the resources and advantages that we had as black people. It's just that, we had a good, like we had a good hand, and you guys decided to just kind of fuck it up. Yes, we're still being targeted. You feel me? Like there's still an illusion of, racism not really being, around or something like that. But it is. It really fucking is. And you wanted to use me as a fucking totem. So I would definitely be calling that all out all the time. And yes, this is still a property of mine. And this was like, again, this is just like a whole bunch of stuff. Like, Party at Shalice's. I used to have like, little parties at Shalice's, like drinking and stuff like that. Or just hanging out, going to places to show off paintings or look at paintings and go to art shows. These were like my fucking ideas to just do these kind of things. And people were like, oh, like, oh, I don't know if like, this is me. And now everybody's, kind of doing it. And I'm not saying that I'm over here trying to be, a fucking Christopher Columbus, like, oh, I have discovered this. No, it was just like I introduced this to my community because I was just like in a moment where like I didn't want to do this alone. So I invite you guys to do this with me. Or if you want to, why don't you do this when you have time? And then maybe in the future we can do this together. Somehow these people took it as a moment to be very bitter about it and then want to try to suppress me from having any fun or doing anything and then do it themselves. This is the Black people of Trenton, New Jersey. Trenton, New Jersey. Trenton, New Jersey. And then other races of this fucking miserable town decided to participate, and then higher ups and so forth were then a whole lot of people who are my shade lighter or darker decided to want to oppress me or use me as a stepping stone so that they could be in higher positions and compare themselves to me, or put me down, try to humble me. And a lot of people already know this, but I want to just call it out for what it is. Yes, okay. I think I still have that fucking vacuum cleaner. It doesn't work anymore, but I still have it downstairs, in the basement. But yes, these are my steps. This is here, and this was 2011. Like, excuse me, this was girl, bam. This was 2011, November 6th. So like, bruh, get up off of it, y'all. And if y'all saw the before pictures of how this place looked, you would definitely be hella surprised. And this is the same grandfather's clock. Dark ass photos, but yeah, like yo, like oh yeah, drinks at Shalisa's, like yo, like over here. Invited to parties, going out. Y'all really fucking just like made it y'all business to just lie about me. Y'all made it y'all business to just fucking lie about me. Thank you so much for driving the volunteer group to task, which is like the soup kitchen, to volunteer to feed the homeless. Bruh. Hey, did you make it to work okay? And I put, nope, I'm missing a hip. He's like, what? It was a joke, Dad. Ha ha. It's like, oh, ha 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 ha. I need to work on my delivery, comedian in training. Like, when was this? No, January 2014. This was shortly. I mean, this was definitely before the day, the year that he asked me to co-sign a car for him and stuff like that. So, but yeah, this is just ridiculous. Me taking my brother out to like medieval times and just me, my natural body, and the funniness. And all of a sudden, slowly but surely, I started getting like in the midst of this, I started getting a lot of online hate. And when I started doing my YouTube videos, I mentioned this before, but I kept getting one dislike, one dislike, one dislike. It was always that one. No, I don't mean like out of one. It wasn't like I got 3 out of 1, but I always got one dislike out of my videos, on a lot of my videos. And I was just like, what is with this one dislike? I was like, well, thank goodness I get paid per view and not paid per like, because there was really a hater in the midst. And the hater was literally somebody who called me friend and sis. And it was that one person. Because she started whispering into my family's ear and just being malicious and just lying. And it's just so fucking gross. I cannot. This person is now has money, but instead of just going about her way and trying to do her own thing, it's like, no, no, I need to make you like feel bad. And I'm like, for what? And just like, she wants me to feel jealous. Isn't that some shit? That is really like some fucking fucked up shit. And you don't even need to have access, obviously, to my Facebook, but I mean, you can also go to my fucking Instagram. In fact, it's just like, oh, they be like, oh well, what if it wasn't just, it's because of when was the last picture I did on here? It was 2016. And I took my brother to like this like athletic run. Like I just don't understand like how all this just seems like, oh yeah, like y'all hating me or something like that. Like get the fuck up off of it. Can you tell how like you have like a really like seriously a hater in your fucking midst? This shit is just crazy, bro. Just unknowingly smiling at people who wish bad upon you. It's like 2017. I don't know if so and so copied off of this yet. Shit is bananas, bro. I'm sick. Really fucking sick. And it's just me. Just me. It's creepy. Invited to people's weddings and stuff like that. Gave people like gifts for weddings. So I'm just like, okay, so me take like I'm not a person who likes flying, but it was just like, yo, like I rarely take flights, but I took flights to go visit people who I grew up with respectively. So I went to my first flight was to Mississippi to go see the guy friend that I grew up with, and then the first one was the girl friend that I grew up with. Pardon me. Then I went to Florida to go see my cousin's wedding. But it was just, yeah, it's just crazy on how, again, all these people were just like, oh yeah, like I never liked her. I'm like, what the fuck? Like you guys were so fake and so cheesy and all up in my face, like when we were fucking kids up until this, and then somehow all of a sudden it's just like the growing resentment and people getting favors and whatnot like that. People being okay to like surveillance me. This right here was like at a little fashion show. This was so fly. This was at a fashion show. Speaking of fashion, I told you that guys that I went to the Fashion Institute of Technology, which was like one of these schools. Top schools. Oh, okay, here it was. This is what I was looking for. So yeah, like my grandmother, she was, the down south country girl, and here's me with my little dress. And and there's my mother, who was just like, obviously more obviously definitely it was like a look-alike kind of situation. I mean, obviously, do you see like the resemblance? So yeah, and that's where it stops. But and I've always just, I've always like being like the humanitarian. It's like, let me just show you on how that in itself should definitely have been like one of those warnings where people were like, okay, kind of creepy that you over here copying this girl, and yet you over here trying to flaunt things in her face. Like, give it up. Like, you look really weird. Like, it doesn't seem likely. It doesn't seem likely like she's being a problem when you over here acting like a weird ass fan. Yeah, so like I don't know how do I make this shit bigger. Okay. So if you go to Just Be Honey, you'll see a lot of stuff that's more like obviously it's just, more about me. I mean, obviously it's all about me, but it's just like more details where you can just kind of look for evidence of, oh, who did what first and who did that here and the third. So I'm still living in the house that that I had got, that I had saved from foreclosure. And here's me at events and whatnot like that. Here's me with this bitch. Like, I had no problem with sharing my platforms with other people in my family and whatnot like that, because I wanted success for them too. I didn't think any of that kind of stuff was weird or unfamiliar or creepy to do. But apparently these people did. These people did. I just, I want to be around black people that actually mean what they say when they say fellowship and community, and not put it on as a fake ass front. Because lordy, 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 when I look at some of the influencers that decided to like put me down, bro, that's insanity. And was saying I was doing like getting like plastic surgery or stuff done. Like, this is a natural body. Okay. I went to dancing school. That's basically how I'm tall, and you kind of get like that butt shape kind of situation from dancing school. So like, and I've been in dancing school younger than this, but this is like the only picture that I have of myself. So, but so like my long arms, my long legs was a convenience to me. Like, I was always that dancer type. Oh, I did like, the fake tattoos and this, that, here, and the third. Again, you're gonna see a lot of stuff that was copycatted by this person. And that's so fucking creepy. I cannot. I was a person who had rollerblades, and I was just like, unfortunately my mom was not gonna budge, and it was just like, oh, like can Dee Dee have these two? And eventually I was like, no, like, we can't do that. And I just like let it be. But it's just like, what was mine in a and obviously in a common sense situation, it was just like, yo, like, hey, look, like, let's share things. But obviously when you're as an adult, you know exactly what you can and cannot share, and what you think that you can take is yours. Like, you have people have gone to the extremes by crossing my fucking boundaries and thinking they can just do whatever and take whatever. And they did for a long time, because they used not only the government but the selfishness of people who still to this day are trying to dictate or try to victim blame me and tell me exactly like where it is that I went wrong. As if, I got to choose about which family that I was born into. And I cut these people off. So how is it still my fucking fault? That's like you guys having to pay for, having a president and being like, well, technically you guys still do in a sense, where it's just like, you have a president. You selected the president. You voted for the president. President fucks up. And you guys have to, either have to clean up the aftermath with the new president or in the second or the third. Like you kind of learn in hindsight, but you chose that one. Or for some people, you didn't choose. And I'm in the same boat with you. So like you can kind of understand where it is that I come from, where some people needed to let's like kind of have like that. Some people needed to have that kind of awareness. Some people needed to have that kind of fucking compassion and understanding, because I was born into a family, or I was in an environment, or I was in a relationship with someone. And once I decided that, okay, these people weren't good for me, I cut them off. So therefore, all I had to do was remove myself from them, but they were the aggressors, and they were the ones who had the opportunity and resources with the government, who was also selfish in society. So then at that point, that's when you have to start pointing fingers at these motherfuckers. Because I went on my way. I did everything as possible. I talked to lawyers. I talked to cops. I filed reports. I talked to judges. Like, well, I didn't talk to many judges, but I talked to the judge who was like, I don't want to mediate. I want to fucking go to trial. And they were just like, look, I've done this for 20 years. Like, I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I know. You know what you're doing. But it's just like, I'm done with this fucking maliciousness. I really am fucking done. And people are over here trying to look at me like I'm some fucking messiah or a heroine. And it's just like, I'm a simple person. I really fucking am. I understand that I don't have many of the negative, I don't exemplify a lot of the negative, ugly traits that people nowadays do, but I am still a person. I may have like certain type of like, awarenesses and like little talents and skills here and there though. But like I told you before, I'm not a martyr. I'm not a messiah. I'm not like this thing and the third. When I say that I'm divine, it just definitely means that, I am a special, unique, and worthy character that's deserving of prosperity and goodness in her life. But seeing what the government has done, I'm telling you, I swear to you, some things, there's gonna be a reckoning. There's gotta be. So I will be recording some things on my pursuit to getting justice, and on things that I don't. It will definitely be moments where it's just like off the hip. It would definitely be moments where it's like off the fucking hip. So yeah, like I don't know. So yeah, that was, I don't know if you could see that video, like that picture, but yeah, bam, bam, bam. Damn it. I don't know if you can really see it better, but if you can tell by the smile, because there's that glare. But if you look at the 2013 Trenton High yearbook, so 2013, 2003 yearbook, you would see. Okay, hold on. That's a little bit better. You see that? So that girl's name is Crystal Quino. Excuse me. And that's Sam right there in that ratty tatty shirt with the corner store white t-shirt that you can get for like $5. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because for a moment, like, that was literally, that was kind of the wave. And I used to have like, the little old Navy shirts underneath mine. So like that was kind of the way, but I will also tag shirts too. So I I didn't mind like, kind of wearing that stuff, but I'm just like this was like the same old kind of shirt. This is not for me to downplay her, but this is for me to just exemplify the moment where it was just like somebody who pretended to be born into reality was not born into reality. No, this person literally lived in an impoverished home in salary and stuff like that. It was like, her mom was a crook. She did some things. She did some things, and that didn't matter to me. That didn't matter to me. Like actually, when I met her mother seemed like she was saved, and Danielle, obviously was the person who had the different faces and stuff like that. Always fucking opportunists. But you see the same hair color though. That's what I wanted to also show you. The hair color is like a brownish kind of color. Hold on, let me see if I can brighten this up. Okay, can you see the hair color? On how it's like a little bit like light brown. That's the color of the like my grandmother used to have like brown hair too. So it was like a brown or sometimes like a blonde. She used to switch between both of those. So yes, bitch, that is just so fucking creepy on how you wanted to be a nurse because you were inspired by my grandmother. How you wanted to wear the hair like her, or how you wanted to that's what I want to do. Show you some fashion designs and this, that, her, and the third. Where are my fashion drawings? Oh, did I throw? No, are you kidding me? Oh no, here it is. Evening TBT sketches from grade school that I kept stored in my old Timberland shoebox. Wanted to be a fashion designer. Young dreams influence bold and the beautiful soap opera fashion scale. Okay, let's go out Fashion Institute. So yeah, and then I went on to do the Fashion Institute technology. But yeah, because when I went to the Fashion Institute technology, I was either going to be a these were not bad. That dress was supposed to be sheer, but like I went there. I was thinking of being a fashion forecaster, but I just decided to major in fashion merchandising management because I figured, hey, look, instead of doing fashion designing, which seemed a lot more competitive, um, I was just like, you know what? Maybe I can do fashion marketing, so that way I would learn how to do both ends. Like I'll learn to make the clothes and I'll be able to sell myself. And I also will be able to sell other people basically, like their talents and stuff like that. So I thought it was a twofer. Yeah, man. It's just so fucking crazy how people are just like so fucking like, like how are you coming? How are you fucking coming? I'm just like, bro. Here's me with like my then blonde brownish hair. But it's just like, bro, like how y'all fucking coming is coming out crazy and creepy for no fucking reason. Needless to say, like when any of my enemies die, I will delight in it.